He should be right there on the bed.
He was stuffed down in the air conditioner.
He was not stuffed down in the air conditioner.
He said you was using him to block the airflow.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Had to get hoppy. Hello, guys. How are you? Sorry that took so long. I want everyone to know I'm doing so much better today. I hated canceling my stream. Hoppy, come on. Just sit there, okay? I hated canceling my stream Monday, but I just couldn't. I just could not. I've been dealing with some very specific depression and anger stages for the last couple of weeks, and I just lost my mind. I'm going to tell you guys what happened. Somewhat. Before I'm laughing at myself because I am my own worst enemy. Now, those of you who have been following along for a long time, you're probably all like, TikTok, you know? But those of you who don't know me, let me introduce myself. My name is Boomer, and I play games. Today we're not gaming. Today we're talking, and we're going to watch some stuff and react. But before we get into that, let me explain what happened Monday. I'm sorry, I feel like I have something in between my teeth. I had some chicken, and I think I have a piece or something. Anyway, I'm the type of person, part of it is I can't control it. I have ADHD. And so I have to really, really work hard to not have knee-jerk reactions to situations and not get sidelined by little things that become big things, okay? So I came home from work a while back and found that some things were not where they were supposed to be. And I immediately went into orbit because I immediately imagined worst case scenario. Like, okay, for instance, just due to trauma that my mother instilled in me, her motto has always been, expect the worst, but hope for the best. It's really hard to hope for the best when you're just constantly, expecting the worst. There's no hoping for the best when you expect the worst to happen. When you expect the worst to happen, and it invariably happens, you become so adept at manifest destiny that you're just like, must be Tuesday. So anyway, I came home, saw some things, and I was like, oh, Joseph is having an affair. He's not. That's just the way my brain works. And I started like, I will take anything and turn it into my own crazy. Like, Joseph could walk past me and be like, oh, your hair looks nice today. And I'm like, oh, so you're saying I normally look like crap. Like, that's just the way my brain works. It comes from decades and decades of abuse and trauma, being told I'm worthless, being told I'm ugly, being told I'm unlovable, that sort of thing. So I'm working through it, and Joseph knows now. I hid 90% of my crazy from Joseph for the first 14 years we were together, and when I finally let him see, I'd say most of it, he cried. It was awful. So anyway, so for the last couple of weeks, let's just say I've been in a mood, a not good mood, and I'm sure the last couple of streams that I've done, it's kind of bled through a little bit, to the point where I wasn't even speaking to him over something I made up in my mind. Now, in my mind, it was real. In my mind, it was happening. In my mind, it was going on, and I had all this proof. But I'm self-aware enough to know that I am my own worst enemy, and I can't talk about something when I'm angry. I need some time away to just decompress and get my emotions under control And then I can have like a grown ass conversation with a grown ass man and find out that I just invented all of this. And I was like, well, what about this, this, and this? And he's like, if you had simply looked, you would have seen that it was just in another spot. And honestly, 10, 15 years ago, that would have made me madder, because nothing makes you more mad about a situation than when you find out you have no reason to be mad. Because then it's like you have all this anger, but it makes you mad because you realize you can't be mad. You know what I'm saying? Now I was like, whoo, thank God. You know, like I was in such a good mood. I came home, and this is how ready I was for the conflict to be resolved, one way or the other. Joseph and I, whenever we talk on the phone, you guys have seen me call him. It's usually like a 13 to 30-second conversation. We text a little bit. Well, we don't even text very much. Most of our conversations are face-to-face. Joseph and I check in every single day. Every single day. When I'm not streaming, he doesn't like to be in here when I'm streaming because it's my public persona and I'm a little bit louder and I'm a little bit more articulate. Whereas when I'm not streaming, I'm a little bit more like laid back. I'm a little quieter. I mean, I have a loud speaking voice, but I'm a little bit quieter. And he doesn't have to worry about what he's wearing, what I'm wearing, you know, that sort of thing. Like from like here up, I'm put together. I got my hair done today. We'll talk about that in a minute. I've got my World of Warcraft shirt on, and while we're on the subject, let me go to my interwebs thing. And I don't know, honestly. Hold on. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna actually kill that real quick, just because we've got some stuff pulled up that we're gonna be watching. Actually, you know what? Can I minimize that for a second? I can, but it's not gonna make it go away. Okay, let me just turn that back off for a second. Anyway, so I guess while we're hold on, let me bring up my World of Warcraft launcher. I don't know for sure whether or not we're going to get any World of Warcraft going today, because today is really going to be about running my mouth while we watch some stuff in a minute. I've got some stuff pulled up on YouTube that we're going to be watching. What is this saying? Oh, it's just logging me in. I've got to put my password in. Great. What's my password, you guys? Like, I don't think that's it. Okay. I've been doing a lot more of using my... Oh, it started an update. Great. I got a lot of things to talk about. So you're in for a ride, guys. So that morning, I was actually at work, and I was, for the last couple of days, even in text, because I have this thing that I do every single morning. When I get to work, I say, I made it to work, my little, and then I'll just make something up. Every day it's something different. And so for the last 2-3 weeks, I've just been like, I'm here. Made it. And he's been... Joseph knew it was coming. He knew I was spiraling. And he's been walking on eggshells around me. And he never once lost his patience. He never snapped. He never did anything to antagonize or bully me. He puts up with so much crap for me. Now, I'm not bullyish, or either I'm not the type of person to immediately snap and like get abusive or verbally assault someone. I'm the type of person, I shut down. I look the other way. I don't speak to them. Like, they just stop existing to me. When I'm angry with someone, I've learned that I have to shut down and not interact with them until I'm at a point where I can. So I was texting him, and I texted a couple of snide things like, you and your friend have fun. Just don't make a mess. Don't, like, I was like, shut off my study door because I have a lot of expensive equipment in there, blah, 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 you know. And then I was like, you know what? On the off chance that I'm completely wrong, I'm being unfair. I'm being a very, I'm being a very not nice person right now. I checked myself, and I was like, you know what? And then I was like, can I call you? And he's like, yeah. And so I started off the conversation very normal, like very conversational, like nothing was going on, and then slowly led into it. And we talked on the phone for 3 hours straight. What's up, new follower? It's so good to see you. Black Ninja Cats. Ooh, Ooh, we love black kitty cats. We love ninjas. So you are definitely most welcome here. So anyway, we talked for 3 hours, and I have a really good close friend who I've been helping through some of their relationship problems at work. You always have that one person that you gravitate to. So I was sitting there talking to her, and I was like, "Oh, by the way, hello, I'm a hypocrite." And she said, "What?" I was like, because I've really talked her off the ledge a lot. Meanwhile, the whole time I'm helping through all her problems and being right the entire time, my own personal life was just spiraling down the drain. And I had to explain to her, I was like, "Just so you know." And I told her everything that was going on, and she was just like, "Are you kidding me? This whole time you never said anything? God, you know how to keep a secret." I was like, "Well, you should know that by now." But yeah, she was like, yeah. And so when I came home that day, Joseph was like, "Hey, you little psycho." So that was really my fault. I'm in a much better headspace. I'm happy to be streaming again. God, I'm sorry I took that day off, you guys, but it was a very overwhelming couple of weeks. On top of that, you know, like I said, it was the anniversary of my dad's death. And I didn't get to see any of Joseph's family because I had to be at work super, like 11 p.m. at night. That sucked. It was Halloween. And on top of that, we just finished a huge project at my job that's literally a year, like it takes a year to build up to. So like, I was just done. I was ready to be like, "I'm leaving soon." Like, I was ready. So anyway, we're fine now. We're fine now. Matter of fact, his mom just left. She came to hang out and clean up a little bit, and she just... I love hanging with Sue. I don't get to see her that much when she's here even because I came home, we had breakfast, and then I went to bed and slept like 3 hours straight. Apparently, we had a visit from the maintenance company out here. Slept through that. And speaking of sleeping, I don't believe in chemically altering yourself. I don't believe in drugs or alcohol that much. I don't believe in that. It's one thing to have anesthesia when you're getting surgery. It's another thing entirely to like abuse drugs and alcohol. Don't do that. It's wrong. You're better than that. That being said, I took 2 Benadryl last night and I had the sleep of my life. Let me tell you, it was so stupid. Okay, so we've been getting a lot of cold weather lately. So I switched my sheets to flannel sheets. And then I was like, that's going to be really cozy. The best sleep ever is going to be like, I'm going to take not 1, but 2 Benadryl. I take like 50 milligrams. I'd never do that. And then, I mean, I'm not joking. I didn't move for 4 hours straight. I fell asleep very quickly. And I didn't move. I was just like, I didn't move. And I woke up because I got overheated. And apparently, get this, apparently I went downstairs and you guys know those little tiny mason cups? They're about that tall. They're very short. I filled it with Coke, downed it in like 2 gulps. I had a Kit Kat, filled up another one. Then I ate a pudding cup and I took the Coke upstairs, went right back to sleep. I never even touched the Coke. It just sat there and went flat. Like, I don't remember any of it. Joseph said I was just like sliding against the wall. Like, I was like one eye open, like he said I was making no sense. Apparently I used the bathroom downstairs, which I never do. I always use the bathroom up here. Like, I was out of it. I am still you never abuse drugs. You never take medicine that's not yours. You don't drink don't. You know, it's one thing if like you have a glass of wine for New Year's, that's fine. Or, you know, your doctor's like, drink, 1 glass of wine, small glass of red wine before bed. It helps you with, I don't know, whatever. That's one thing. If you have like a specific thing that you're doing for a specific thing. But if you're just abusing it to abuse it, don't do it. That being said, I now understand a little bit why people do that, because that was the best sleep ever. Now, you guys know part of having ADHD is having insomnia. And so there will be like, you guys have seen me stream on 3 days of no sleep. So, I'm not going to take any tonight because I'm off tomorrow. So if I don't sleep great, it's fine. I have all day tomorrow to nap or whatever. But if I'm ever super stressed, I've discovered something that gets me in the best mood ever. Honestly, like, I had like 9 hours of sleep. I woke up like, I was in the shower. I'm not joking. I was in the shower before I went to work and I was like, la da 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 da. Like, I was in such a good mood. I was in such a good mood. I went to work and I was like, good morning, everyone. And everyone was like, who the fuck is that? Like, he does not talk to anyone. Like, I was saying hello to, like, we have people that come in, contractors and stuff that come in before we open. For business for the general public, and I was like, "Hey, it's good to see you. How's the baby?" And oh, I hope your cat's doing okay. And they were all, and I just kept walking past, smiling, and everyone was just like, I'm not joking. I walked past this one particular coworker who I didn't say hello to him because I hate his guts, but I walked past him, and he was like. He was like, am I having a stroke? Am I hallucinating? Like, it was so funny. Okay, so today we are going to talk my hair. No, I do want to address it real quick. I did somewhat style it a little bit. It was an emergency hairstyling, which is why it's not the best. Okay, so what happened was I went to work with wet hair, and it's cold out, so I was wearing my beanie, as I do. You guys have seen me in beanies a million times. And as my hair's gotten longer, it started to take on a life of its own. And, like, the sides were starting to come up. And I told Joseph, I was like, I'm turning into Wolverine. God, could you imagine these little gay arms getting, like, jacked like Hugh Jackman? Like, I'm actually flexing. There's nothing there. Gamer life. So, yeah. So, my hair was, like, everywhere. And then I slept, which made it worse. And so I was like, I'll just wet it real quick. And I wet my hair, and everything else was like flat, basically, except for like right here, I had this huge bump, and I couldn't do anything with it. It just kept lifting up like this, like a little hair horn. And finally I was like, I'm gonna have to put hair gel in it. So the back of my head is not as styled. Don't look at my hairy neck. I'm sorry. I gotta get my hair cut. But yeah, I walked into the bedroom, and I was like, so I put gel in it, and Joseph was changing, and he just kept looking at me funny, like, he was like, and then he just started laughing. I was like, does it look bad? He goes, no, it looks okay. I've never seen your hair like that. And I was like, I used to do this all the time when I had hair like this. Now, I didn't spike it up in the front, like, as Eric likes to call Jimmy Neutron. You guys know Eric, the Crafty Cub. Check out his channel, by the way. But yeah, I was just like, I had to do something, because I had a whole situation going on with my hair. So that's what's going on with that. So today, you guys, we are going to talk BlizzCon. We were going to do this Monday, but I took a mental health day. Okay, so I don't think... I'm trying to figure out how to keep myself in profile on here, but also us be able to watch this. So I'm going to like... Oh, I think if I just move this up to here, and then, okay, okay, we're getting there, it took me a minute, yes, okay, all it is, like, underneath this window that we're all looking at, we're on my side, I have a list of all the different, pieces that go together, all the different layers that go together to make my stream. And my video capture device was below this right here that we're looking at, and I just had to like move some stuff real quick. I just figured it out literally on the fly. How smart am I? Okay, so what we're doing, you guys, is we're going to watch the War Within announcement. Now, for those of you who don't know, the War Within is the new expansion that just got announced for World of Warcraft. We knew there was going to be an announcement, but we didn't know what it was going to be. There was so many leaks and guesses and whatnot. I personally was like, excuse me, and I was wrong, I was leaning like Taliesin from Taliesin and Evital. I was leaning more towards like we're going to be going onto the other side of Azeroth. I thought that's, or leaving the planet for some cosmic battle. I was leaning towards one of those two. And instead, we got something completely different. So, one of the things that I like about this trailer that we're about to be watching is, first of all, it's beautifully done. The music is phenomenal. The acting is amazing. It's a live action trailer with CGI in it. It's very, very much like the Warcraft movie that we saw years ago, but it stepped its game up, and we're going to watch it. Okay, is it in 4K? It is in 4K. And there we have Anduin. Nice shot, by the way. Love that sword. I want to pause real quick and say I'm not sure if this is the same actor who does the voice acting for Anduin in game, but I will say it might be, and if that's the case, then and I knew this guy was an actual actor. I just don't think I've ever seen him in anything like in real life. I've only ever heard his voice. If this is the same guy, this guy can act. That's all I'm saying. He looks rough.
You're here to tell me we don't get to hide. Is that it?
You needed time. We stayed away. But time by itself heals nothing.
You didn't just come here for me. It's the visions. You've seen them.
I suspect many have lately. Something, someone, is calling out from the heart of the world. Like a voice from a dream. Something dark is coming, Anduin.
They did a really good job on Thrall.
The world needs your light again.
It looks... That is a... Okay. Not trying to, like, take us out of the cinematic for a second, but while I haven't been through what he has been through, I've been through my own hell trauma, and Joseph has seen me react like that when he's touched my shoulder before. I do not respond well to being touched. I never have. I never will. If I let anyone touch me, I trust them. I let Joseph touch me if I know it's coming, but there have been times he's put his hand on my shoulder or in the small of my back or my neck or my elbow even, and I'm like, it's a trauma response. As soon as I saw this trailer for the first time, I nearly started crying when he did that because I was like, he's been through hell, but that is real trauma response. When you can't be touched, and it's literally, that's the war within. That is the war within. Allowing someone to touch you, even though you know they mean you no harm, but you're so used to being hurt. Like, that's the war within.
I am not that person anymore.
That's the same pose that Arthas had in the Lich King trailer.
Not after what I've seen. Not after what I've done.
You are not your past, Anduin.
That's true.
I trust you.
This is emotion right here. Look at that armor. It's amazing. They did such a good job with this. I wonder, I'm sorry to keep pausing it. I didn't say we were just going to watch it. I said we were going to talk about it. I wonder if there isn't a time lapse between the time between the time they drop down in pain from that happening and when they come back up. I'm wondering if there isn't a part of this cinematic where you're not seeing, if there's more in between those 2 seconds that we'll get when the game launches, because there's a tiny little bit of like, it feels a little out of time.
They're getting worse. Look, whatever's coming, I'll stand with you. Of course I will. But we were drawn here by the voice. Who is it, Thrall? Who's calling out to us?
I'm not sure yet. But that sword was aimed at someone.
That's a really good shot too. Okay, so first of all, I've been saying for years, and you guys know this from watching my channel, that eventually we were going to have to deal with this. We were going to have to deal with Azeroth's World Soul. That's it. There's no more to this. I mean, there's like 2-3 seconds left, but there's no more to this. Okay, so I've been saying for years that we were going to be dealing with this, and not like a, oh, pat me on the back, I was right, but it does feel good, even if no one ever says you were right. It does feel good for me to know that I called this, and I was right. I called cross-faction guilds, cross-faction rating. We are going to, at some point, we're going to be getting player housing, and I'll tell you how I feel like this is coming. Actually, I can't yet because we haven't watched the next video. Okay, so we're gonna watch the next video in a second, and we'll discuss it. Just let me write that note down about player housing. Player housing. Now, it's not gonna happen in the next expansion, but it is coming. And if I'm 1,000% sure it's not coming in the next expansion, but it is coming, and I'll tell you how I know. I don't know, but I know. Okay, so the thing I like about this particular trailer was I really loved the sheer amount of like emotive power that the actor who's playing Anduin has. Like his range, his facial expressions, the depth and just sheer like torment in his voice. If you really like, if you just close your eyes and play the whole trailer, there's not actually a lot of lines. A lot of it is conveyed through facial expression, the music, the somber quality of all of it, like the very hushed, other than like when he jumps up and hollers at him, I'm not that person anymore. He's saying a lot. He's saying a lot. He's not just saying that he's tormented and he's hurt. He's also saying, I'm not that hero anymore. I'm a completely different person. And we're seeing that because when he's holding Charlemagne, I think that's the name of that sword, it's not glowing. He's still got it, and he's still wearing his gear under that wonderful cheesecloth shawl he's wearing, but he's saying, I'm not that person anymore, and he means that. He's like, I'll help you, but I'm not that person anymore. Don't expect miracles. Don't expect the light. Don't expect me to be the hopeful, happy, sane person I was. Which is weird because when we ended Shadowlands, you know, he seemed like not necessarily back to his old self, but like in a much better place then than he is now. So I'm wondering if in his travel throughout the years from the time Shadowlands ended to the end of Dragonflight when we catch up with him in Silithus, I'm wondering what all has happened to him. What has he done? Are we going to get a book titled Anduin? Is Christy Golden about to write another book? We haven't gotten very much from her in terms of tweets lately because she could be busy, oh, I don't know, making a book. Who knows? So there's that. Okay, so now we are going to watch the BlizzCon opening ceremony for World of Warcraft. Their ceremony was very long. But we're gonna right, waffle fries to you. Thought I was gonna break the copyright law, but I didn't. This here is one of the best BlizzCon opening ceremonies I've seen in many years. Also because we haven't seen one in many years. But the thing that I loved about this was we got Daddy Metzen. We got Thrall back. Now, for those of you who have been living under a rock for the last year, Chris Metzen came back to Blizzard sometime this past year, or maybe the year before. I'll have to look that up. I didn't think about that before I started this whole thing, but he's one of the original founders of the Warcraft universe. Now, he had retired from the gaming industry completely in terms of development. He's still the voice actor for several characters, lore characters in World of Warcraft, and I'm sure he does work for Diablo as well. I'm sure. I have no proof of that, but I'm sure. So he would come back to voice roles. But when it came to coming to BlizzCon for the last several years, he had to act as a private, normal citizen and go buy a ticket and attend BlizzCon as a fan. And he's now back. I don't know what happened behind closed doors, but he's the executive. Like, he's the guy in charge of development now. It's like him, Ian Hazacostas, and the rest of them, if I'm not mistaken. And honestly, I feel better knowing that he's back because, A, with all of the new... I'm not saying you can't have an amazing ride with a lot of new people coming in. I'm just saying that when money gets involved and new egos get involved, you can skew far from the vision that made it great. And while I have actually enjoyed every expansion, I've had a couple of favorites now, which is crazy, because I never picked favorites until Legion came out. Legion was great. And also I will say that in terms of storytelling, Dragonflight has a great story in it. A really good story, actually. I just hate dragon riding. You guys know how I feel about that? We're going to talk about that in a minute. Because this was not my BlizzCon for that, let me tell you. So anyway, yeah, we got Metzen back, and he knows how to work the crowd. And I'll say this, even though he's older now, I swear, it just lends to the daddy. That man is hella fine to look at. I lust quite viciously for that man. Like, as bad as I am on camera, I say some outlandish things about that man and what I'd let him do to me. In bed next to Joseph, like we're laying in bed next to each other. He's watching TV, and I've got my tablet and my earbuds in, and I'm just like, oh, that's a man! Like, I'm losing my mind over it. But let's go ahead. Let's watch the video. Let's watch the video.
Please welcome executive producer, World of Warcraft, Holly Long.
Oh, I forgot about her. This woman here, you can tell she's trying really, really hard, but she's not comfortable. Not a fan of her. We might skip ahead.
Oh, I'm so excited to see you all here. It's fantastic. Well, can you believe we've been playing World of Warcraft for almost 20 years? You know, 2004 was a while ago, right? You know, some of us, we waited in those lines for those midnight releases and got our discs. Yeah!
I got mine in the mail, actually.
And we raced home to install those WoW discs one by one.
Yeah.
Across nearly 2 decades, players all over the world have taken part in the stories of Jaina, Sylvanas, Arthas, and Thrall, and of course, so many others. And together, we've jumped through the portal into Outland. We sailed off into Northrend, and we watched Sargeras stab the world with that sword. During that time, gaming has changed, and you have changed, and so have we, particularly in the past year. The entire team across both Modern and Classic have embraced their communities. We are truly listening to your voices and taking action. My friends at Blizzcon, now is the perfect time to prepare to close chapters, open new ones, and double down on why we all fell in love with World of Warcraft in the first place.
I agree.
With that in mind, let's get to it. As many of you know, WoW Classic was born out of the community's passion. And of course, most of you know that still drives us today. Like just in August, inspired by our community, we released Classic Hardcore.
I will never play hardcore. Sorry about it.
So, in Hardcore, you only get one life. And if you die, you may laugh, you may cry, you may have to replace a keyboard, but you go again.
I've done that. Can I just say, I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a time about a year ago, I think we were streaming Fallout 4, where it was off camera, but I got so mad, I went, bam, bam. I mean, I was just beating the shit out of it's the only time I've ever done that. I've never broke a keyboard until like a year ago. And it just got something, I don't remember what it was that pissed me off, but something pissed me off and I was just, I was beating them keys. I mean, I've fucked up my keyboard.
We've loved watching you take on the challenge or die trying. And because the hardcore community has asked, the team is planning to add a new way to play hardcore early next year.
Oh Lord, if they say mobile, I'm gonna be so over it.
Last month in Wrath Classic, we released the Fall of the Lich King patch.
What, Lich King Hardcore?
And while there's still more to come in Wrath, earlier this year, we looked at your feedback to think about where are we gonna go next. We read through a lot, and I mean a lot of your feedback on social media forums, and we sent out surveys to our players. And here at BlizzCon, we're happy to announce Cataclysm is coming.
I actually I didn't watch this whole thing. I just watched the Chris Metzen, so I actually didn't know about this. Okay, you guys have heard me say this before on here, but until Legion came out, Cataclysm was probably my first favorite expansion. I loved every single one of them. But I loved Cataclysm because A, it revamped the world, and B, it started to, and I've said this before, that's where we started introducing the darkness that's in the game now. Like, we always had, like, hard things to go through in the game from vanilla. But it wasn't until Cataclysm that we started killing people. Like, we started killing characters. We started killing the lore. Like, we started, like, changing the fundamental stuff. This is where they really started laying the groundwork for breadcrumbing into the next expansion as well, because vanilla had its own encapsulated story. Burning Crusade, encapsulated story. Lich King, encapsulated story. Cataclysm did have a beginning, a middle, and an end, but it also breadcrumbed into the next expansion. We came directly off of Cataclysm into Mists of Pandaria. Like, that was the first time that they didn't do it as blatantly as they do now, but they did start then laying the groundwork for how we lead from one expansion into the other. There wasn't literally like, we finished all our adventures and we're just living our lives now, and then all of a sudden something new happens. No. Nowadays, when we finish up what's happening in this expansion, it like the repercussions of it are what lead into the next one now. And that's what Cataclysm did. It also really started having us look into more of the old gods. Even though, to be fair, we did start learning more and more about that in Lich King. Cataclysm is where we started dealing with the way, like for instance, Neltharion. We started learning more about Neltharion. We started learning about how he fell, his past, what led him to this. He wasn't just some bad guy who was trying to do bad things. While we didn't agree with him at all, we knew he was a bad guy. We knew he needed to die. There was no shades of gray like there is now. We learned about his past. We learned so many different things in the game itself, in the lore. We learned more about the Titans. That's where we really started learning a lot of this stuff, because a lot of it was just hinted at in like a little word here or a phrase there or a sentence there. You know, we never really started learning much about it. And that's when we really started learning, like, this is a real thing. These are real situations that we're going to be dealing with from here on out. And while we didn't know about Neltharion then, what we know now, I like the fact that we're still dealing with the repercussions. And this is also, if I'm not mistaken, this is where we learn about, I could be wrong. It's been so long since I've done this quest, but I want to say this is where we first started learning more and more about the Black Dragon flight and the repercussions of what Neltharion did in his experiments and whatnot. We start dealing with, I believe this is where we get our first taste of the end time with Murzond. There's so much going on in this expansion. So Cataclysm was also, if I'm not mistaken, no, I was about to tell a lie. I did eventually. I want to say I tried to play a Warlock before and I never liked it. But in Lich King, that's where I created Boomer. That was my first Boomer character. That's where I adopted the persona of Boomer, and I became the most highly sought after person in my guild. Actually, in 2 different guilds, with that one particular tune. Because back then, there were no stat squishes, there were no item level squishes. None of that had ever happened yet. The item cap, the level cap was 85, I think. I think that's what it was 85. I could be wrong. It's either 85 or 90. I think it was 85. Because I believe you were gonna, or maybe it was 80. Because I think it was like, Vanilla was 40, Burning Crusade was 60, Wrath of Lich King was 70, so I believe Kata was 80. And back then, we still had our old original talent trees. The original, the OG. I love the new talent trees that we have now, but the ones that we got in Pandaria were shit. I knew as soon as I saw them, I hated them. But back then, I loved playing my Warlock, and I played him exclusively pretty much for 2 or 3 years, because my favorite thing to do was go into a dungeon or raid, send out my Wrathguard with his little spinning blade attack, and I would hit life tap, and I would throw out like so much AoE, and life tap didn't just drain the life from the enemy, it would tap everything around you up to I think like 8 different mobs, and you would never lose any kind of like, even if you were being attacked by like the boss, you always had a way of surviving. And I can't tell how many times I would be the only one left alive in a dungeon encounter with a boss or something, and I would just solo the thing down because I would use Unending Resolve, my Wrathguard with his spinning blade attack and his stun, and my life tap while I was throwing out Chaos Bolt, and I would just burn everything down. Back then, you would see a Warlock enter a dungeon and everyone would be like, woo! The healer didn't have to worry about me, and you could throw out like the Soul Well so everyone could have cookies. I'm telling you, like, the Warlock, the Demonology Warlock back then was the most OP class in my opinion back then. It really was. And then, of course, the Mists of Pandaria patch came out and destroyed all of that. But I loved Cataclysm. I rocked everyone's shit. I actually, believe it or not, that's back in my PvP era. I used to PvP a lot in Cataclysm. Tol Barad, I loved Tol Barad.
And It's coming with hashtag changes based on your feedback, just like you'd expect from Classic. So now, let's jump into the Wayback Machine and get a reminder of all things Cataclysm.
Are they gonna play the trailer? Ah! This is when things got changed big time. There's, yeah. Here he goes.
There is no hope, no future. All life is doomed.
Oh my god, I remember this. Ah! Let's go. Oh, fun fact. This is where we first started getting races that were already in the game as playable races. We got Worgans for the Alliance and Goblins for the Horde. Oh, and I love the fact that I can now play a Goblin in my Alliance guild.
Sons and daughters of Gilneas, hold the barricade. Do not give them an inch.
Yes! Oh! Oh my god, yes! Oh! Old War! I remember that.
Nelthorian, it is time to end this.
I think that's Grim Batal. I ran Grim Batal so much, you guys. Oh my gosh.
Comes in the end. Destiny has sundered this world so that its true laws may be drawn.
Oh my gosh. That was a Vortex Pinnacle? I have the Drake mount from it. Oh, and the Firelands. Who can... Oh, Ragnaros. Oh my gosh. And Major Domo Silistra, I think is his name. Oh my god. Oh! This was so epic. Mm. I remember this. This was so nuts.
Of all things, I am the Cataclysm.
That is, I'm not joking, Leia. I don't care who you are or what expansion you came into World of Warcraft on. When you see shit like that, you're just like, let's go! Like, that's so cool. A new age of Cataclysm. Now, I might make a character on that. I might.
Get ready, my friends, because I love the passion, by the way. Get ready, my friends, because the road to Deathwing's destruction is coming in the first half of next year.
The first half, which probably means July 30th. Let's call a spade a spade.
All right. Now, over the past 4 years of Classic, we've watched you master the vanilla experience, and we've loved it. So much, in fact, that we thought we'd add some unique flavor with a seasonal note and a dash of discovery. Season of Discovery is vanilla wow with a spicy twist. You're going to discover new secrets as you scour the world and find class-altering abilities.
Wait, what?
Have you ever wondered what it might be like to be a tanking Morlock? Or
Ah!
the role of a mage healer? in Season of Discovery, you can.
What?
The season is going to launch with an initial level cap of 25. And when you hit that max level,
25?
with the brand new level 25 endgame. You'll discover a brand new 10-player Black Fathom Deeps raid with new and reimagined bosses, mechanics, and of course, rewards. Then, after a couple of months, we'll raise the level cap a bit. You'll find even more endgame content, and so it will go. If you're here at Blizz...
We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this because I didn't watch this part. I just watched the Chris Metzen part. I missed out so much. This is my first time seeing it, guys.
You can play the Black Fathom Deeps raid in the Warcraft Hall.
On the what?
If you're here at BlizzCon, you can play the Black Fathom Deeps raid in the Warcraft Hall.
Oh, okay. They have a Warcraft Hall there at Anaheim, California. That's what they were saying. You can play the... Okay. I didn't quite understand what she was saying. I wonder where she's from.
So, if you love Classic or just a little intrigued about what exactly a Warlock tank can do, go check it out.
Oh, I bet everyone ran to the hall.
All of you watching online, don't worry. You won't have to wait long to play. Because we want you to discover all of the secrets together, there will be no public testing. WoW Classic Season of Discovery launches in a few short weeks on November 30th.
Oh my god. I know they are all so excited. I'm excited. I might have to re-download that.
For more information on the season...
Hold on one second. I gotta put my glasses on and see what you got going on over there. What is that?
Looks like cucumber sandwiches.
That's not... Okay, hold on. Give me that plate. I'm not gonna take anything. Just hand me the plate. I want you guys to see this. He calls these cucumber sandwiches. He calls them cucumber sandwiches. They're Ritz crackers with... Is that Velveeta cheese? It's just cheese? Okay, regular block cheese. And pickles, bread and butter pickles, and he calls them cucumber sandwiches.
Because I don't eat cucumbers.
Well, technically pickles are cucumbers,
Yeah.
but that's not the point. He calls these cucumber sandwiches.
Also,
Don't sandwiches come on bread with some kind of like mayonnaise or pepper
No, I just put
sauce
pickles
or
and
something?
cheese. I just put pickles and cheese on bread and eat it. I do. That's my snack.
Cucumber sandwiches.
I'm not crazy.
I might have the one without a pickle.
There's shouldn't be one without a pickle. What happened?
I don't know. I didn't touch it. There's no pickle on the plate, is there? You dropped a pickle somewhere.
There's a pickle.
I'm gonna be walking down the stairs to downstairs, and I'm gonna step on a pickle and die. And you guys are gonna read my obituary, and it's gonna be like, famous YouTuber, yeah right, dies after a pickle slip accident.
That's so good with the pickle.
Idiot.
We go a little
With
bit of
Discovery
pickle.
and Cataclysm, don't miss the classic panel this afternoon. All right, now it's time to talk to my dragon riders in Modern WoW.
You guys know I'm not a fan of dragon riding.
Our team remains committed to giving you meaningful game updates about every 8 weeks with more content sprinkled in between.
Mm-hmm.
We really want Azeroth to feel alive and the home you want to come back to no matter how you play. Our next major update, Guardians of the Dream, is going live in just 5 days.
I think it went live today.
A shout out to my elves. It is finally our time. 1 week later, season 3 will start with the last raid of the expansion.
Ooh, that cheddar shark.
Amirdrasil, the Dream's Hope.
Amirdrasil. That's a
There
beautiful
we will
name.
have our final showdown with Farak and defend our new world tree. But fear not, that's not the end of our time in the Dragon Isles. There's a lot more to come in Dragonflight that will serve as both the epilogue of this story and the bridge to our next one. Like I said earlier, we are evolving. We are changing our approach to this big, beautiful game and how we look ahead to new chapters. BlizzCon, it's time for a new adventure. one that has grown from the very seeds of what captured our hearts when we first set foot in Azeroth. For veteran players, the last 20 years have led us to this. And for those who have yet to join us, now is the time. And who better to talk about the first step in this journey?
Daddy Metzen, Daddy Metzen. I get very squirrely for that man. I'm not joking.
And someone who carved the path in the first place. Everyone, please welcome my friend and the executive creative director of the Warcraft universe, Chris Metzen.
Got loud. Got loud. Daddy Metzen. Rocking the dad bod, but he's still a gorgeous man. Gorgeous man. You can tell he just loves what he does.
What up, BlizzCon?
I want to point out something that you guys may or may not notice as he talks. Pay attention to, like, he'll break character every once in a while and just be funny. His presenting voice is vastly different than his just regular speaking voice. Mine isn't. Like, I have this sissy voice all the time. But what's weird is, while it's similar, it's also different from his Thrall voice. But it does come through every once in a while. So this guy here, God, I bet he growls. I just bet he growls.
Holy smokes! Horde, where you at? Alliance! BlizzCon as one! Holy smokes, thank you. Thank you. It is, thank you guys.
See, his regular voice is so different.
It has been a long, strange trip to get back to this spot. I tell you that.
And he's not just referring to, it's been years since we've had a physical BlizzCon. He's talking about his own personal journey. Because remember, you guys, he retired from this. Now, to be fair, he retired for very valid and admirable reasons. He had a wife and they just had a child and he wanted to be a father. And I can only respect and admire that. As someone who doesn't like children that much, I can only respect someone who wants to be a good parent, because I didn't have that growing up. So someone like him saying, "Hey, you know what? I've done my time. I've paid my dues. Now it's time for me to be a dad." I'm like, yes.
It has been interesting this past year being back under the hood of World of Warcraft. It has reminded me of a few things. One,
You ate them all?
I love Warcraft.
He ate them all already, you guys.
Number two, you know what? I really missed this work.
What did you just say?
I said all I had was a little breakfast this morning. I'm hungry.
You had a giant-ass breakfast bowl with grits, scrambled eggs, bacon, and cheese. It was not that little. It was about this big around, you guys, and about that deep. He got to eat. Don't let him lie to you. And you had at least 2 pieces of banana walnut bread.
Yeah, that did help a little bit with the sugars.
He lied. Yeah, he got the sugars. He got the sugars all right. Oh my God. I told everyone how I went psycho for the past couple of weeks.
Weeks. I'm just being funny.
Are you gaslighting me on camera for the world to see? Are you bullying me?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Hoppy did that.
See? He's doing it now! And you wonder why I snap and go crazy sometimes for no reason. Oh, this is nuts. Alright. So, you're actually going to get to see this. Joseph's never seen any of this. He doesn't know. I mean, he knows about BlizzCon, but he hasn't seen any of this that just dropped. So, he's going to be in here with us as well while we watch this. Now, what we're about to get from him, other than just the joy of looking at that man, my God, he's sexy, is, and I'll tell you something, he's not just like the guy who helped make it and the guy who is running it, he is a fan of World of Warcraft. He is a huge, huge fan. He lives and breathes this franchise. It's his baby. It's his first love. It's his last thing he thinks of when he goes to sleep at night. He loves World of Warcraft. And if it wouldn't matter what company, like say for instance, I don't know, say EA Games bought World of Warcraft, that man would fight tooth and nail to keep the vision correct. He would keep it on course as long as he could. This man loves this, and you can tell it in everything he says. Look at his eyes. Look at his... Let me stop.
And number 3, on the reel, it feels amazing to be back and part
That jaw.
of the Blizzard family.
I just want him to bite me. I've never wanted to be bitten by anyone as much as I have Chris Metzen.
As Holly said a bit ago, next year is the 20th anniversary of World of Warcraft. I can't even believe it. Whatever. How many of y'all have been playing from the beginning?
I remember being 12 years old, playing the original Orcs and Humans, and then Beyond the Dark Portal, Tides of Darkness. I used to just spend weeks at a time creating the most intricate maps and then playing them. And sometimes not even being able to beat them. But I remember like beating the game on cheat codes first and then later being able to finally beat it. Watching the cinematics, which, trust me, they were awful. But they were the best they were at the time, and everyone was like in it. And what's funny is like in between campaigns, you would get like storyline scrolling text like they had in Star Wars and stuff. And Chris Metzen was one of the people who would narrate it, and it was just, that game was cutting edge technology back then. I remember. God, I remember.
I love you.
I love you too, Daddy.
So given that... What was that? Doesn't matter. We started thinking, so what next? Right? What expansion hook? What single storyline could possibly match such a historic occasion? We started thinking about, well, I did, the good old days, right? And some of those early mythic ideas that kind of established the background of Warcraft. Started thinking about even some of the newer ideas that have played out more recently, but still in a way feel a little unresolved. And in the mix,
I'm showing him my belly, you guys, and he's just like, careful.
all those ideas, particular things like, what the hell has Magni actually been babbling about all these years? Was the thing that...
We're gonna come back to that. Let me write that down. What he just said, we're gonna talk about that because we'll talk about it. Just wait.
That he came to warn us about in Battle for Azeroth, did it actually play out? Or is there potentially something darker still looming on the horizon? I don't know.
He's just toying with us.
Will there eventually be
See how the background just
an
changed?
apocalyptic confrontation between the forces of the light and the void? Talk to me, Blizzcon. I'll tell you what, for nothing, my pally Maine, I'm all in on that kind of thing. If it happens, it's gonna happen.
He loves playing with it. I'm just like, play with me, play with me.
And really the big question for all the marbles, what have the Titans actually been doing since the dawn of civilization? What is the real purpose of all of their cute little installations slammed into the side of the planet? Do we know everything we need to know?
Let's pause for a second and talk about that, guys. That is something that I've talked about a couple of times as I'm streaming. I've loved this evolving narrative of how it's like, okay, let's make an analogy. Say for instance, you've got a really good friend and you love that friend, and you two are two peas in a pod, right? You tell each other everything, or so you think. And say for instance, they go off on a trip somewhere, or you just haven't seen them for a couple of days, and people are coming up to you, and at first you're like, oh, they're just trying to drive a wedge between me and this person. But then they start telling you factual things about this person that while you still love this person, it does change your perception of this person, and it makes you realize that yes, I'm best friends with this person. They've never done me wrong, but they're not perfect, and they've actually done someone else wrong. It doesn't mean that I hate this person. I still love this person. I'd still be willing to die for this person, but they're not perfect. That's the narrative, basically. That's the shift in narrative that World of Warcraft has been doing over time. And I think I know what started it, or why it's happening. Okay, so you gotta think, this game's been around almost 30 years. It's been World of Warcraft for fixing to be 20, but it's been the Warcraft universe for almost 30 years. Chris Metzen, I think, is 49 or 50, something like that. I could be completely wrong. I think he's 48, actually. So that means he was like 19 when, and the others were probably around the same age when they started this. And so the games were great, the storylines were great, but they were a little bit, the characters were a little bit more one or two dimensional. Now, over time, as they've aged and seen things in real life, they've started understanding that life isn't just the black and white that you see, but the myriad shades of gray in between. And so they've always been telling the story of like, yes, the Titans did help Order Azeroth, and yes, the Titans' job is to run around and help world souls become Titans themselves, but everything for the last couple of years, everything that we've read and seen has been this evolving narrative of everything that we know about the history of Azeroth and the World of Warcraft, universe has been from the Titans' perspective. And what do we know about history? That it's written from the perspective of the victors. That's a real thing in real life. And so as we've been going along, slowly over time, we've been chipping away at the actual facts and learning, through like hidden things that we found in the game that yes, these things did happen, but they weren't exactly how we were told originally. Yes, it's been a light versus dark situation. And yes, the Titans did this. And yes, the Titans helped Order Azeroth. But in so doing, they created division amongst Dragonkind. They stamped out anything that wasn't of order. We found out that Odin, who for the longest time we thought was one of the nicest guys in the world, turned out to be a giant dick. And Helia was actually his first in command. It was one of the best people. And he turned her into basically female Satan and put her in charge of the underworld. And that's why she harbors such a grudge. Like, we are starting to understand that, yes, we've been doing things that we personally believe are good for the greater good of Azeroth. But at the same time, we've been doing it for people who we assumed for the longest time were the purest examples of valor and virtue, when in fact we find out that maybe they're not. And we for the longest time thought that they were the ones responsible for the ordering of everything, and it wasn't until Shadowlands that we found out, no, there was a lot of stuff already around before they got their hands dirty. We still haven't met the first ones. That's all we know of the first ones, is that they exist or existed at one point, and they were around for an eternal amount of time before the Titans and Keepers and whatnot happened. So that's something I really love about WoW, is not only have the game devs matured over time, but the story has as well. It's so much better now.
About their real intentions for our world.
Yep.
Just saying. BlizzCon. All of these hooks. And 100 more. 68. Carry the 2. A bunch more. All cooking in the pot. Started to reveal a storyline. Something epic. How epic? Real epic. A storyline that in
I like how he's heckling himself in this presentation. That's actually gold. That's very Metzen, though.
almost every way feels like the culmination of the first 20 years of our storytelling. A storyline, provided we do our jobs, we do the thing, that will vector us into the next 20 years of adventure.
Okay, so that tells us that they have plans for WoW for at least the next 20 years, right? I will be 1,000 then, if I'm not mistaken. This is this is both heartening and disheartening because I already have problems with my hands, and I'd hate to think that when I'm in my 60s, mid-60s, I'd love to think that I'm still playing video games, but at the same time, I'd hate to think that I wouldn't be able to enjoy it properly because of the problems with my hands. That man is so gorgeous. God.
Blizzcon. Are you with me, Blizzcon?
Is that a question?
We call this storyline the World Soul Saga.
Just you wait. Just you wait, you guys.
The World Soul Saga is so epic, as we covered. It cannot be contained within any single expansion. It is built to play out over multiple expansions over the next few years.
Multiple expansions. I'm excited for this. I'm so excited for this. I'm very gay for it.
We are working on multiple ways to deliver this adventure to you a little faster than you're used to.
I'm excited for that.
We're not going to get into it at this BlizzCon. Forgive me. But keep your ears peeled.
I wonder if, and just to jump onto the hype of something else that could tie into this, I'm wondering if one of the ways that they're going to try to deliver the narrative quicker and in different ways is, are they going to actually because that was a rumor, are they still going to have a Netflix series, which I would love, I would live. But the other thing is, are they actually, despite the fact that they have a much bigger team, multiple teams, are they going to be using AI to help them build these games quicker? That's my question.
I assure you, we are moving with purpose. And the last thing we really want is for y'all to have your grandkids controlling your mouse and your keyboard trying to wrap this thing up.
I was just saying that. Just saying that.
It's coming. Also, given the scale of this monster, we have decided to change it up today. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Instead
That
of
tongue.
just
Oh!
debuting your next expansion all on its lonesome, we have decided to give you a glimpse at your next 3 expansion sets.
I'm so excited. I love that. Excuse me.
With your approval, BlizzCon. My friends, I'm going to warn you, there may be mild spoilers ahead. Actually, I'm just kidding. They ain't mild. Buckle up. Are you ready, BlizzCon? The first part of the World Soul Saga and your 10th expansion is called World of Warcraft: The War Within. In this chapter, you will be descending into the heart of Azeroth itself.
I literally heard people in the crowd go, "What?" Like they weren't expecting that. They've been laying the groundwork for us actually going to the other side of Azeroth for the last 2 expansions, and then this came out of the blue. Like this was kind of cool. But again, this was something that Cataclysm did, believe it or not. We had Deep Home, which was underground, and some people liked it, some people didn't. I loved it. I love the idea of a huge underground expanse. You guys know Blackreach is one of my favorite places in Skyrim. Different franchise, but I love that place. Love that place. I love it in ESO, and I love it in the Elder Scrolls Skyrim. I love Blackreach. The idea of this huge underground world space. I love that. And this is so cool.
Exploring new subterranean kingdoms and engaging with ancient cultures like the Earthen and the terrifying Nerubians of Azj-Kahet.
Okay, so this is a tie-in to Lich King, because that's where we first started really getting to know the Nerubians and how they are immune to the Scourge disease. They can't be subjugated by Arthas or whoever the current Lich King is. So also, we still have to deal with the Scourge threat, because I don't remember whether or not the new crown that we made in Shadowlands was going to be used as a means of controlling the Scourge. And if it is, fine, done, dealt with. But if not, we still have to deal with the Scourge threat at some point on Azeroth.
But as the forces of darkness close in around our precious world soul, you, yeah, that's you, will be called to do what you always do, which is dispense indiscriminate justice upon all those who got it coming. Talk to me, Blizzcon!
Woo! I want more fact. I don't want more hype. I want more fact. Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
The second part of the World Soul Saga is called World of Warcraft Midnight.
Midnight. And obviously, we can tell it has a void theme. Obviously.
In this chapter, you will be returning, ready, to the old world. To the fabled lands of Quel'Thalas. There, the forces of the Void have invaded Azeroth, intent on snuffing out the light of the Sunwell and plunging the world into darkness and fear. You will not only help reunify the scattered elven tribes of Azeroth.
Good.
But you will make your stand with the forces of the light and banish the shadow forever.
I'm excited for that one. I'm excited for all of it, but I'm really excited for Quel'Thalas.
BlizzCon, it is Azeroth. Things may not go to plan. Things may just spiral wildly out of control, leading us to the third part of the World Soul Saga. World of Warcraft, the last Titan.
I've been talking about this for years, guys. I've been talking about this for years. Even since before I started streaming.
Chapter, you will again be returning to the old world. This time, to the wintry lands of Northrend.
Did he just say Northrend?
And there, at Ulduar, you will bear witness to the
Ulduar?
return of the Titans to
In the
Azeroth.
Storm Peaks. All right.
And there, you will uncover a vast conspiracy. One that stretches throughout the history of the world. One that will challenge everything you think you know about the Titans.
Ooh! I've been saying this for years.
Of Azeroth itself. In time, my friend, in time. And it's called Silithus. There you go. BlizzCon, my hope, our dear hope, is that you can see when it comes to WoW storytelling, we ain't screwing around. We are playing for all the marbles. We are working to establish a thundering heartbeat for this franchise. Now. Now, Blizzcon. Hearken to me. Always wanted to say that. Thank you. Whether you are a current player, I'm gonna bet that most of you are, or maybe you jumped off the WoW train a few expansions ago, now is the time to come home.
It's convenient. I'm actually at home.
Now is the time to pull on your boots, pick up your broadsword or your favorite glowy staff, and get in this fight. Friends, Azeroth needs her defenders now more than ever.
Hoppy's watching this show too.
Now,
I'm looking at Halloween.
in a few moments.
Hold on, sorry. Joseph just told me something that I think I had an auditory hallucination. What did you just say?
Looking at Halloween pictures.
So I wasn't hallucinating. He just told me he's looking at Halloween pictures. It is November 8th. You literally have a year till Halloween.
9 days ago.
But you have a full year until the next time that rolls
I know,
around.
but these are the ones that we just took 9 days ago.
Oh my god, I gotta tell you about a customer. I just thought about this. Hold on one sec. I gotta make a note, guys. I'm making notes. I've gotten to where this is my coping mechanism. I make notes on a Post-it pad while I'm in the middle of something, and then I go back to it later and I remember my talking points. It's the only way I can remember.
We are going to give you a deeper look at the war within.
Oh my gosh.
But before we do that, I want to leave you with a little something to chew on. I want to remind you all.
Oh, I thought that was going somewhere else.
Very epic things can begin with small, heartfelt moments. What you're about to see.
Oh, the cinematic.
Is one of those moments. And with that, BlizzCon. Proud defenders of Azeroth! Let the World Soul Saga begin!
Okay, so we're actually going to skip ahead, you guys, because we literally just watched this before the opening ceremony. So we're going to skip ahead to, we're going to keep going. Let's go. Maybe a little further. Hold on. Okay.
I guess we're not ignoring that sword anymore.
Good point.
I do have to say, though, every time I see that cinematic, and I've seen it many times, it gets me right in my heart. It feels like a new beginning, and it feels like coming home. And we are so excited about where we are going. And now that you've seen or heard the overview for the World Soul Saga, let's talk about the war within. As we all gather and explore beneath the surface, we'll find an ancient Nerubian civilization. They will be led by someone we were first introduced to in Legion, Xal'atath, Harbinger of the Void.
I talk about her a lot, actually. I love her.
Destruction and darkness.
Back when my mother and I had a relationship, we used to geek out over World of Warcraft, and I would bring up Xal'atath constantly. She's not in that blade anymore. She's free. She's got a brand new body. She's free, and she's an old god, you guys, and she was the only one smarter and more conniving and devious than her was the guy we just killed in BFA. I forget his name, but you guys know what I'm talking about. He's in the blade now.
That threatens all light in our world. The last time we saw Xal'atath, she promised we would meet again. And it turns out she was right. And while Anduin, Thrall, and others share the same visions emanating from the heart of the world, some are seeing something quite different.
Illyria.
Visions are not the same as the others. No radiance, no song. Just the shadow taunting me from below.
New zone Ashkahet. With the Nerubians, you guys. Isle of Dorn. Okay. The Ringing Deeps. Okay. Halifal. Forge your own warband. Master hero talents. Okay. New allied race. Shit flight, as I call it. That's cool looking, that geode elemental thing. That was cool. I'm trying to figure out who the boss was.
Rests upon the edge of a knife. And our battle lies deep within.
Look who it is. That was Xalatath. Ooh! We love Xalatath. We stand her completely. Oh my gosh. I love Xalatath.
In the War Within, alongside beautiful, unique underground zones, we will have challenging dungeons and raids and some new features too that are built to last. If you like exploring on your own with a couple of friends or family, we have delves. These are a variety of bite-sized experiences for 1 to 5 players that will offer
I caught this, you guys.
rewards. You may also find in your delve a familiar character who'd be willing to fight alongside you. And if you're like me and you have an obsession with alts, we have warbands. With this feature, you can treat all of your characters like family and share banks, reputations, transmogs.
I'm excited for that as well. Oh!
We're also introducing a new layer of customization for your class specs with hero talents. You might want to take your character down the path of a Dark Ranger, let's say, or a Farseer, and more. Also, during your travels underground, you will meet the Earthen Dwarves, and you'll be able to unlock them as our new allied race. I mean, who doesn't love a dwarf? The facial hair options are spectacular.
I actually
there's so much
like
more to
little
talk
people.
about, so please join the What Next panel that's coming up right after the opening ceremony right here. What I can tell you, though, is that the call to get into the fight to save our world will ring out when The War Within releases next year. And lastly, I sincerely want to say, we are so excited to begin this new journey with you. And from our hearts to yours, thank you for bringing our world to life.
I have to say, the this was a really good opening ceremony. I felt like it went off without a hitch. As we saw with the Starfield opening ceremony, we had some idiots decide they wanted to crash the ceremony and act stupid, and it wasn't cool. All right, so let's talk about this. I've got some things to talk about. I have talking points. Well, now you can see them. I've written them down. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is something that we saw in the cinematic, you know, the War Within cinematic with Anduin and Thrall. First of all, masterpiece I would say that cinematic was built, and Hoppy was enthralled as well. Um, it was so well done that even if you're not watching, if you're just listening to it, you can just, it conveys everything. And I would say that it's very friendly to someone who's never played World of Warcraft before, in that this is the only critique. And it's not the writing, it's not the acting, it's the choices in the writing and acting. It's the cluelessness of Thrall and Anduin. Like, who is this? Who keeps speaking to us? Guys, we've been knowing since Legion. Was it Legion? Yeah. We've been knowing since Legion about Azeroth slowly waking up. We did all the quests in Battle for Azeroth. We know that she's crying out in pain. We know who that is, and we did quests for all of these people in that vein. We know what's going on, and the fact that they're like, who is it? And he's like, I don't know, but we've got to figure it out. And I'm like, how do you not know? We've known for years, and you were the ones that helped us know. So, like, you know, but I think they wrote this in such a way that someone new just watching the cinematic would be like, okay, I want to know. And so they'll pick up the game. So that right there is a very conscious decision in the writing on their part. That's all I have. But the cluelessness is almost painful. It's the only critique I have in that entire scenario. But I understand they're writing that not just to catch or keep our attention, but they're writing it in such a way that it'll catch newcomers. So I get it. It's a smart move. I gotta tell you about this Beetlejuice person that came in my store. You're gonna laugh your butt off. I can't wait to tell you the story. So I just keep looking down and seeing it written in my notes right here. I keep thinking about this. Oh my gosh. I want to tell you guys about this, but I don't want to get myself in trouble for putting a real life person on blast. I got embarrassed for her. You see how red I turned? I got embarrassed for her. Anyway, so, okay, let's talk about what they were talking about, what Chris Metzen said, and I think the other lady, I forget her name, it's like Holly or Mary or something like that. They were saying that they want to bring the game to us in shorter time frames. They want to speed up the production. They've got things in the work. They're moving with purpose. And they want to make sure that they get it in our hands before we're in our 60s with our grandkids holding the mouse and keyboard. That was both hilarious and very self-aware. That's a very smart thing to do, to tell your customers that we're about to do some things that we've never done before. We're taking a huge leap, and we want you along for the ride. I think that it was a very smart thing for them to say that, and then also give us not just the names, but a timeline of events set up for the next 3 expansions, because I'll tell you what I think is happening. I think they're working on all 3 at once. I don't think they're working on one and getting it mostly done and then starting on the next one and then getting that one mostly done. And then I think they're doing all 3 in tandem, and that's going to speed up the amount of time that, shorten the amount of time that we get in between the expansions. They were saying something along the lines of wanting to actually shorten the amount of time to where, like, they want to beat the timeline that we've had in Dragonflight. Like, remember in Legion, every 77 days, we got something. We got a new patch, we got new content, we got a new raid, we got a new dungeon, we got a new zone, we got something in Legion. That was the best patch cycle ever. And then Dragonflight came around years and years later, 2 or 3 expansions down the road, and we've had a really good patch cycle, and there's been a lot of transparency between the company and us, the gamers. We've loved that. I would not be surprised if they go down to, like, maybe a 45 to 60 day patch cycle. I would love to see them shorten that, not because I'm one of those, I want it more. You guys know how slowly I take the game, but it's nice that everyone will have something to do in a much shorter time frame. And I think the reason being is, I would not be surprised if, while they're laying the groundwork for the next 20 years, I would not be surprised if we get these next 3 expansions in the next 3 to 5 years. Instead of, like, 6 to 8 years, they're going to shorten it to, I want to say, like, maybe 4 years. We'll have 3 expansions come out. And I read a article yesterday that wasn't spoilery at all. They were just talking about the changes that the the gaming industry has had and how Blizzard has managed to stay on the crest of that wave and whatnot, mostly. And it was something about how Blizzard is now adopting an MC Universe type of delivery method for their media. And I was like, that's a really good approach. The idea that they've already delved into, as we've seen this last expansion, alternate realities and timelines. The repercussions of that, they've killed off major characters that have broken people's hearts. They introduced new ones, and they're setting the groundwork for even more new ones. But I would not be surprised if they're trying to go for a real a Blizzard, or I'm sorry, a Warcraft cinematic universe. Like, you saw that trailer. It's very much in like the idea that could have been made in Hollywood. That was phenomenal. And the last couple expansions, they've only stepped up their game. Even the in-game cutscenes that use all the in-game models and assets have been so wonderfully done. Like, we could just watch them on a loop and I would just be in hog heaven, eating popcorn and squealing like a girl. But I would not be surprised if we saw the next 3 expansions all pretty much very quickly come out within the next 3 to 5 years. I would be surprised, but at the same time, I wouldn't. I'm not calling it and saying this is going to happen, but I would not be surprised. And the last big major talking point at the top of my list is player housing. Okay, so I don't believe it's going to come out this upcoming expansion. I don't think it's going to come out in the War Within. If it does, it'll be at the very tail end of it. It'll be like the last thing they release. But I'm pretty sure they're laying the groundwork for player housing. And I'll tell you why. Because they're already going to introduce war bands, right? And one of the things is you can basically, I don't want to go into it too much. I watched the deep dive on it, and I don't want to spoil it for you guys. But basically, it's like they were saying, you'll have a shared bank, you'll have shared crafting inventory and shared achievements and transmogs across your entire account. There might be 1 or 2 things that get left out, only because they have to. But it's like 99% everything is shared now. And it would make sense for player housing to be introduced at some point, either at the very tail end of the War Within or during the beginning of Midnight. And I'll tell you how and why they're going to do it. Why? Obviously, because you would need a place for your warband to reside when you're not on your alts, right? And how it would be very easy because, as we know, we're going back to Quel'Tha Laws in Midnight. We're going to go unite all the elven tribes, and we're going to defend the Sunwell from being extinguished by the Void. You know, the best part about going to the old world locations like that, because I believe it's Quel'Tha Laws, the Ghostlands, Zul'Aman, and there's a 4th area in that whole... It's all instanced off. So if you're on a low-level character, you would go through that instance and you would enter the old world. But as a max-level character, going into that expansion for the first time, you would enter the instance and you would go to another version that they've built of that instance, which might be identical in layout with some minor changes for the new expansion. But everything is increased in level, there's new storylines, there's new quests, but there's also, because now they don't have to like try to build the architecture or a whole new area or instance zone, it's already instanced off from the rest of the game, that would be the perfect time to implement player housing. Maybe it's a situation where it's like Garrisons 2.0, where you your garrison is in the first zone you go in, which I believe is the Ghostlands. I believe it's the Ghostlands. Or maybe through going back to Quel'Tha Laws, which is going to be interesting as an Alliance player. Going to Quel'Tha Laws as an Alliance player, they're introducing a lot of this seamless entry. Like, once you go into the instance version of the old world, right? There are not going to be any portal doors that you have to like load screen into a new instance inside an instance. No, I think now they're really trying really hard to create a seamless open world where on my Alliance Dwarf Paladin, I could just stroll into Silvermoon. That would be kind of dope. And it would also be a way for them to really like large scale test how the architecture would be able to handle opposing faction members in an area that is like I said, an alliance tune in a horde area. And I would like to think that with most people running around in an instance area of the old world, there's not going to be a lot of traffic elsewhere in the old world areas like Stormwind or Kalimdor or Orgrimmar or the Barrens even. I would like to see in the next, after we finish these next 3 expansions, we do go to either the other side of Azeroth or we return to the rest of the old world where they've done a lot of work in creating an entirely new storyline where we're dealing with the aftermath of the last 3 expansions, and we have to heal the world, we have to fix things, there's new infrastructure, there's new capital cities even. I'd like to see something happen. I'd like to see the Scourge threat really lose its mind on the rest of the world while we're tucked away in the Ghostlands and Zul'Aman and Zul'Gurub, that's the name of it, that's the name of the place. So we're going to be dealing with a lot of Night Elven lore, which I love. I love, love, love the Night Elves. I just realized I could actually blow up... Oh, no. I'm over here. I can actually blow up my portrait now while we talk. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I would love to get all kinds of Night Elf lore. And this would be a really good time to re-implement archaeology, because that's an area that there's already... Well, no, I don't think there is archaeology there yet. I think the archaeology nodes stop right there. You know what? Let's just do something real quick. I'm going to that's not what I meant to do. I'm going to exit out of this. Actually, I was going to show us the War Within deep dive, you guys. I was going to do that, but we can do that on Friday's stream because we are like 20 minutes away from closing this. So what I'm gonna do, is turn off the interwebs thing, and we're going to launch the game because it should be done downloading whatever the hell it was downloading. Yeah. Now I've already bought. Let me actually move this over here, and I'm gonna actually shrink my portrait back down in a second because we're gonna go ahead and launch the game. I couldn't play the game yesterday at all because they had extended maintenance. I'm trying to get my. There we go. My hands, I have a really hard time I can like move them and grab things. I don't have a good grip, but I can move things. But when it comes to like really small, intricate things like resizing a window, my hand has a really hard time being steady, believe it or not. They don't shake, it's just, I have a really hard time with very small detail stuff, which is crazy because I used to have really good hands for that. So I'm going to launch the game, and I don't know if the music's going to play. We'll see in a second. Come on. Launch, launch, launch. We're going to talk about this in-game a little bit. Are you okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, there we go. It's launching. Finally. Okay, new version of the game. I have interface. Okay. Yeah, okay, we'll talk about that in a minute too, you guys. Load anyway. All right, changes. Okay. We're just gonna hop on. You guys see this? I have already bought the War Within Super Duper Digital Lux. And what's funny is, when I bought it, Joseph was about to head downstairs and said, hey, I'm about to spend some money. And he knows I'm not a money spender, really. I'm very good with money like he is. But when I say that, it's not going to be nothing. It's not going to be like a small amount. But they actually dropped the price. Normally, their Super Duper Digital Deluxe Edition, you know, like the highest one is like $100. It was only $89 this time, which I'm very happy that they actually dropped the price down a little bit. And you get a lot of swag for it as well. But what I forgot was I actually had, it doesn't show on here my amount, but I actually already had like a balance of like WoW money on here that was over, I think it was like $111. So I actually didn't, I mean, technically I still paid for it, but I didn't have to like put in my card information and spend money that I can spend on the light bill or something. I already had the balance. It didn't take anything out of my bank account. We're good, so I got it. And I've got a free 70 boost. I'm going to literally hold on to probably for a while because I have 3 level 70s, a 65, a couple other 50s and 60s. Let me show you this. The other day when I showed off my new rogue that I made, he was level 11 or 12 or 13, something like that. He is now 32, and I've only played him like 2 days. And I got him up to 32. I'm having so much fun on him. So much fun. But yeah, let's hop on. What tune do we want to get on? Let's get on my Pally. My first level 70. We'll get on him real quick. Because really, we're not going to game. I'm just going to show you some maps and stuff. We're going to talk about this for a second. Sorry, my eyes are killing me. I don't have my game music turned on, so it's kind of awkwardly quiet right now. But I'm just gonna pull up the maps and go to like the old world maps, and we're gonna talk about some things, both in terms of, like I said, player housing, and what we're gonna be doing while we're there, and like how it could revamp several things. Okay. Okay, I'm currently in Dalaran, not Northrend Dalaran, but the Broken Isles Dalaran. What's my, hold on, 90 FPS? That's not bad. Sorry, my eye's itching like crazy. I have a coworker who, when I do this, I rub my eye, he's like, you're digging into your brain. You know that, right? I'm like, well, I mean, it feels good. Mostly. Okay.
That's only when you put your finger.
Okay, so, okay. Where we're going is going to be on the Eastern Kingdoms, which I love. I'm a big fan of the Eastern Kingdoms. I love Kalimdor as well, but a lot of my favorite locations are in the Eastern Kingdoms. Okay, so where we're going to be going is up here, this area here. This is the Ghostlands. Actually, no, this is the Eastern Plaguelands. My bad. This is Isle of Quel'Danas. Wait, what are they talking about? This has never been open. This area here has never been open. And this hasn't either. Okay, so this is the Eastern Plaguelands. We've been there. And then this is the Ghostlands. Now, obviously, this is not open to this character because A, he's a Alliance character, and B, I never played this stuff on this character, and I never been to this location. I probably should have gone on a different character. Let me hop on Riendau, because that one, I believe, has been in those locations. I only have a handful of tunes Alliance side that have been in those locations because it's all Horde area. I guess I need to make an effort to get on my tunes and just travel. Just travel. Come on. God, it's taking forever to load. Okay. What did I just get?
The time for the world tree to bloom.
Girl, I ain't worried. Okay, so yeah, I have opened up some locations. Can I please? Okay, yeah, I've opened up all of this. Okay, so this is the Eversong Woods area. This is the like if you make a blood elf, you will be questing through this area. Zulaman here is a dungeon that you can see I've done all of it except for the heroic different, but Rosa saved, Yolinda saved. I've already done all that. But this is an area that you have to actually go through an instance from the Eastern Plaguelands into here, and this is an instanced area, right? And then you go up here to Silvermoon, and you have the ruins of Silvermoon, Sunstrider Isle, a whole bunch of like very like known, recognizable locations. This is the areas that we're going to be going to. Hold on. It's really hard to get my maps to work right now. I don't know why. Yeah, here's the gate. You'll go through... Wait, is this the gate? I believe this is the gate. I could be wrong. Is that the actual road? There's a road through this area, and you go through a gate. Oh, that's not it either. But yeah, why is this here? Naxxramas. Oh, because, yeah, Naxxramas is, I guess, over it. It's been a while since I'm a little, somewhat lost. But you'll go through a gate. you know what? We've never used this location. I wonder if they're not going to use this little zone. This area here and then this area here have never been used. Both of these on either side underneath here have never been used. I wonder if we're not going to be using those areas in the game. I would not be surprised. Okay, so the War Within is going to take place in this part of the world. I'm wondering if, and of course, no, I'm wrong. The War Within's underground. The Midnight is going to be taking place in these areas. And then, of course, here's Quel d'Oz. It's a much smaller area. I've run all of these and I might run them actually tonight just for fun. I might do that. If you guys notice all these little swirlies, these are all dungeons on this one continent, basically. These are all dungeons. Now, this here is Vashir. It has a dungeon. But I mean, there are dungeons. There are dungeons galore. But if you notice, this area here is the highest area that you'll find, I guess on an Alliance character. But this is the highest area that you'll find archaeology nodes. They don't go any higher than the Eastern Plaguelands. And so I would like to see them reintroduce archaeology to these areas for everyone. That will allow you to not only make a little bit of gold and get some cool little trinkets, toys, mounts, whatever, but also learn more lore, because as they stated, we're going to be going there and we're going to be reuniting I believe he said the 4 elven tribes. Now, we've got blood elves, we've got night elves, we have the void elves, and we also have I forget what they're called, the ones that come from Suramar. Is that what he's talking about? Or is he talking about trolls? Because as everyone knows who listens to the lore and knows the lore, trolls are highly evolved elves, believe it or not. And it makes sense because when you look at Harold Flaps, when you look at night elves, they have these fangs right here. They have the pointy ears. And they have these amazing eyebrows, right? I would like to say over millions of years, those fangs grow into the tusks. The ears just stay the same. They actually already have similar noses and chins, believe it or not. I would say the only real drastic difference is the eyebrows. I would like to posit that maybe when they say we're going to be reuniting the 4 elven tribes, he might be talking about, if he's talking about just that area, then he might be talking about the blood elves, the high elves, and maybe 1 or 2 tribes of trolls who are trying to rediscover their elven heritage. Who knows? I would like to see something like that. I would like to dive more into that lore. That would be so amazing. And again, going to that location, sorry, I just hit the wrong thing. Going to that location, it's all instanced off. So let's look at Eversong Woods for a second. I'm sorry, this is not Eversong Woods. That's Eversong Woods. Zulamon obviously is going to become a max level dungeon, obviously. Deathholm might also become a max level dungeon. It would be nothing for them to create a little town or something over here. There'd be a lot of content in here, but going into this area, like either Sunstrider Isle or the ruins of Silvermoon would allow you to have an instance area of the city that you could have your player housing and put your warband. But there's also little areas like the mountains here, and again, we still don't know about this area here that's never been used. And again, like if you click on it, nothing happens. Now, you can, I've seen videos where people have managed to get to these areas through glitches and exploits, basically, and using tools that are actually in the game to get to these locations. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. And it's basically like Rocky Mountain areas. There's nothing there. There's no structures or features. There's no grass. There's no flat fields. Nothing. It's very hard to get there, but you can actually get there. Excuse me. I would like to see us utilize these because they've been in the game since day one, basically. They've been there forever. We've just never, ever been there. We've never been able to go there. And it's literally cordoned off just like an entire zone. So I would like to see us use that and this area here, which has never been used as well. Now you can actually get in the water and swim to an area up here. I believe you can actually swim all the way around. I believe you can swim all the way around, but you cannot get up there. It'll dismount you, or it'll just like you'll hit an invisible wall. So I would like to see us use that area. And then of course the Isle of Quoldenaz has a dungeon and a raid. There's the Sunwell Plateau. That's where we're headed. I would not be surprised if we had a home in here either, if they decided. And I don't know what this is, but this right here looks very much like the representation of some kind of ship or something either leaving through the sky or through the water. This has never been talked about. This little right here. I don't know what it is. It looks almost like something Draenei-ish. I'm just going to say that. Could be wrong. It also looks like something that could be either Void or Naru. Like, we just don't know what these three things right here are. No one's ever talked about that. But anyway, that's my take on what Midnight could do. And then, of course, okay, let's talk about the Last Titan. We'll be going back to Northrend. Now, first of all, look at all those dungeons. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 dungeons, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 raids. Right? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8. Okay. So we're going to be going to Ulduar. Ulduar is up here in the Storm Peaks. Yeah. There's 2 dungeons and a raid in this area, and there's something right over here as well. I've done all of this. I've done this so many times. If you guys are interested in a really free, 100% drop mount, go to, go to Wintergrasp. Okay? Now, you don't have to do the Battleground, although it is a very quick and easy farm. Now, I don't know if it's still the same amount, but I used to get 200 honor a pop. 200 honor a pop every time I would run it. And because no one's ever here, you can solo it and win it. And if your faction owns it at the end when it's over, if your faction takes control of it, it holds it until the next time the Battleground happens, right? And if you go in here, the Vault of Archivon, which I don't know, the Vault of Archivon. Ha ha ha! I'm talking about it and it pops up. Okay, it's in Wintergrass, but it's only accessible if your faction owns the Battleground, if they win it, right? If they are in possession of it. And if you go in there, there are 4 bosses. You can solo them on a max level character. You don't have to go in and run it mythic or anything. You can run it on regular. And one of them drops the reins of the Grand Black War Mammoth, which is not what I'm currently on. I'm on the Traveler's Tundra Mammoth, but it has a 100% drop rate, and it drops from Archivon the Stone Watcher, right? And it's this guy. He's really cool looking. Again, 1 or 2 hits, he drops, you get them out. It's that simple. And the Grand... Sorry. The Grand... He's the last boss. I'm sorry, he's the last boss. It is a multi-riding mount. You can actually, on the Tundra Mammoth, I can drop off Nemo and Hackman of Argus. I can literally, like, y'all guys get off, and if I'm in a party, my friends can ride on here, but then I don't have my vendors, right? The Grand Mount, where is it at? Let me just type in Grand and go to Ground. There we go. The Grand Black War Mammoth is already ready for your friends to hop on. And you can carry 2 of your friends with you around if you want. So, say for instance, you wanted to open up a bunch of flight paths and stuff for, like, say for instance, if you have more than one account. I have more than one account, right? I could open up WoW on one monitor and open up my second account on the other monitor, get in a party, right? And then run around on one of my mammoth mounts with them riding, so they don't have to be set to follow. They can literally just climb on the mountain and ride with me. And I can just ride around and learn a whole bunch of locations and flight paths for them, and they'll actually get XP and level as well just by running around in the world. That's actually, there's a pro tip right there for giving your tunes a couple of levels just by riding around with them. It's that simple. Also, if you want to cheat the Traveler's Log... Oh, I got this! I just realized I got this! I need to go grab that. I forgot I got that, you guys. I forgot I got that. But if you want to cheat the Traveler's Log, one of the things is to complete quests while in a party. You do the same thing. You put your main account on the main monitor, put your second account on your other monitor. I actually don't think they have to be in the same location. As long as you're in a party, then you go do your quests. You get your points. If you do 15, which I won't get any points now, but if I hadn't got all the points, I think it was like 100. And like if you need pet battle achievements, you can do the same thing. You can party up with your secondary account, battle each other, and just beat the brakes off of them. Like, you do all of your stuff, they just pass every time, and you get your stuff, and then you flip it and do it for the other account, and both accounts get their achievements. It's that simple. It's that simple. I need to hop on a different character that's already in Stormwind and grab my transmog. I'm excited for this because this is the second month in a row that I've actually completed my Traveler's Log. I came to it kind of late because obviously they introduced it this last expansion, and I took some time off from the time it launched to recently when I started like paying attention and caring. So we're gonna hop on. Who do I want to go to? Wait. I've got Starbuck in... Oh, he's in Lunarfall? She's in Lunarfall, excuse me. Eluthian is in Stormwind. We'll get on Eluthian. I love Eluthian. He's also a Pally. I love my plate-wearing melee classes. I do. I'm just not a tanky person. I'm not a healer person usually. I'm just a DPSer. That's what I excel at. Always have, always will. Well. Okay, so we're going to mount up real quick and fly away. Let me turn this quest in real quick. What?
The whole sandwich is funny.
Oh. Alright, we're going to fly over here to the traders thing. I love this mount, you guys. She's so cute. Actually, I just realized I'm still using the wrong setup. Let's go to bulldozer. There we go. There we go. I hate when my porch is like right there. I want it up here in the corner. Honestly, I wish I could do like ESO's HUD where everything fades out unless you're in combat or you're like pointed at an enemy, and then all hot bars and stuff pop up. Honestly, I wish I could do that. Yay! Yay! We got some new stuff and 1400 tinder. This is okay. I can't wait. I can't wait. All right, so we're gonna go to our little thingy. No, wrong thingy. We're gonna look at new stuff. Okay, shift click new. Okay. This is it right here. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, she party, and it goes with my shoulders. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love that. I can't wait. Let's see what else we got. Let's go to weapons. Wait, filter. Wait. How do I find new? That's not it. That's not it. I guess I just have to look for it. That's it right there. Sunderer. So let's look for like, oh, that's a two-handed sword. Let's try two-handed axe and type in Sunderer. Acts of Earthly Sundering. Was that it? Wait, I've actually got... Okay, what is... Okay, so... I did that. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so Cetheris, Tazavir, Goradar. Oh, that was it. It was just 3 different ones. All right, so we looked at Tazavir. We need to look at Cetheris. Hold on. In wait. Weapons. All right, so that's this. So we need to look for Tazavir. And I think that's a one-handed sword. There it is. Tazavir. Sword of the Grand Design. That's actually quite lovely. That's going to look good on a paladin, on a warrior. Oh my gosh. Even a... Well, I guess if you transmogged a Death Knight as... I don't know if that would look good on a Death Knight. But, I mean, that's gorgeous. Even a mage could use that because they can use swords. All right, let's see about the last one. It was... What was the name of it? Goradar. Okay, Goradar. Let's type in Goradar. It's a one-handed sword. Oh, that's pretty too. You know what that looks like? That looks very much like the sword that the guy from the Shadowlands from Maldrax, no, not Maldraxxus, but
Welcome to the trading.
you guys know what I'm talking about. The bad guy, the guy that made the more bad guys. I can't think of his name. The one that ended up being he betrayed us, and we're in God damn, I'm gonna have to open up my map. Shadowlands. Revendreth. Sire Denathrius. I remember I didn't do any of the content on that character. That's why nothing. Because I ran this character through Legion content. I love these shoulders on him. They're pretty epic. And they are, in fact, a legendary. Very legendary. But yeah, Sire Denathrius got stuck in a sword. And now he's being punished for eternity by a Naru in Revendreth. I couldn't remember any of the words. They just escaped me. But that's what that last sword looked like. It was Goradar. That's it right there. That's it right there. That looks very much like that sword that Sire Denathrius is stuck in. Looks very much like it. But anyway, so I got the really cool transmog. I don't think they've added anything new since the last time we looked in the trading post, but let's look real quick just for funsies. This little dude. Let's hide player real quick. That's honestly hideous. It's almost like they're using the old body for Griffins because how blocky and angular it is, and then they put the new head that's high poly on it. I don't like this. I don't like that. Those wings, it wouldn't be so bad if the wings and the feet weren't so freaking like extreme low poly and angular. Again, not a fan of this. This is, what is this? Oh, it's a staff. It's very much like Atiesh crossed with something from Shadowlands. Like the crow, Atiesh. Swift Javra. Honestly, it's like, this is like a hybrid between the old original low poly Javra and the newer ones. It's like a cross. It's like a halfway point between the old models and the new ones. Because it's like they up-resed the colors and textures, but not the model itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a dagger. I think I've looked at most. Now, this is lovely. This, honestly, this bow, I would run around with this bow in Legion content. And it, honestly, it looks like a glaive that they just put a bowstring on. That fan, I would never play a monk. You guys know I don't like monks. I've tried once in Pandaria when it first came out, but that fan if I ever had a monk, it would be a female blood elf, probably with black hair, and I would find a way to transmog her as either Jade, Katana, Melina, or Tanya. That right there is such a Mortal Kombat transmog right there. Such a Mortal Kombat transmog. This is a shield, which honestly, this gives me like Mogushan Vaults vibes. This looks so much like something from Mogushan Vaults. Possessed Watcher. Again, Mogushan. Like, this is very Pandaria stuff right here. And it's for a monk, so that, you know, again. Trophies. This is kind of lit. Like, that helmet and the waist piece is everything. Although, I pointed this out. Actually, I think they fixed it. No, it still kind of floats in front of the actual belt. This piece right here is actually floating. You can see it. Wish I could zoom in, but... Foam sword rack. I have something like this actually in my bank on my main, if I'm not mistaken. Fang of the Mountain. This is very Warlords of Draenor. Fellfire Bulwark. This is very Revendreth. A lot of this stuff is like this is very what was that expansion? Warlords of Draenor. This is like very orcish. The Felstaff, Maul Rage, what is this? That's very, like, either Warlords of Draenor or Firelands, maybe. I'm not seeing anything else I really, really want. I think I got everything I wanted. I might consider getting this little dude. It says, fooled eons ago by the clever Loa of Death into a bargain of unceasing service, this tiny ancient being carries out his duties eternally red with rage. That's honestly so precious. I actually really like that. I really do like that. It's very well. I wish I could zoom in on that face and see the features, but I do like that. It's 650 points though. I have over 4,000. That's not the problem. Actually, I just realized I can see what I have on all my characters. It's showing 30 and 20. It's really weird that this specific character that I rarely ever get on has so much. So your trader's tender is not actually the same across all your characters. I just realized that. Huh. Who knew? Anyway,
We'll be seeing you soon.
that's what they've got so far. I had fun tonight, even though we didn't actually get any game time in. I am really happy with the stuff that we watched. We still have one more video to watch, and we will watch that on Friday probably, and then get some game time in, because the other video we have isn't even a full hour. So we'll definitely get that last video in. And it's a deep dive on the systems and stuff coming in The War Within. More specifically, they talk, not a lot, but they go in depth with delves, with a new companion, with warbands, and I was really excited for that. And some of the other stuff that's coming, like the locations and some of the factions and whatnot. And I'm happy to hear all that. But the two things I was excited for were delves and warbands, and those are actually things that I've been talking about on my stream for the last umpteen years, and even before. Like, delves especially was a big thing of mine. How many times have I've been playing ESO and run a delve and been like, we need this. It's the last thing that Blizzard could add that would really catch them up to what almost every other MMO has been doing for years already. Like, ESO has delves. Star Wars The Old Republic has flashpoints that are soloable now. And now Blizzard is finally getting on the bus. Late this time. Usually they lead in innovation, but this time they're finally like, we're going to do this, and we're going to give people like me, solo players, the ability to solo stuff. Have solo experiences that are repeatable, because it's never the same thing. And your rewards will allow you to have like end-game tier equipment. I'm shipping for that. Let me tell you, I'm so excited. I cannot wait. That being said, I'll have to wait at least a year. What's crazy is, like, I'm going to work the next year at getting flight in Dragonflight, like regular flight in Dragonflight, only to turn around and only be able to use dragon riding again in the next expansion as soon as it launches. After bitching about it for 2 years on Dragonflight. It's the only critique I have. Honestly, I would prefer it if they just used the rappelling system like they had in Stormheim in Legion to get to different locations, because some people absolutely hate the dynamic flight, as they're calling it now. Now that being said, they did go out very quickly and say that regular flight is unlockable via just doing the campaign. Just doing the campaign. You don't have to farm reputation. It's not time gated. You don't have to worry about X amount of patches coming out. As soon as you finish the campaign, which is just the leveling process on one character, it unlocks for all of them. So guess what? I'm going to be going through that content as fast as I can. That's all we're going to say about that. Anyway, I had a great time today, you guys. I feel like this made up for not streaming on Monday. We had a lot of stuff to digest. I hope you guys talked amongst yourselves. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me via Facebook Messenger, or send me a message in here in our little, it's like a whisper basically, but it holds it until the next time I open it up. If you want to talk to me on Twitter, you can. Please check out my socials below. Also, if you like my content and you'd like to see more of it, as much as you want, as long as you want, please check out my YouTube channel. It is down below. Click on the link. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. It's not mandatory, but it's also not optional. In the meantime, I will see you guys on Friday. Have a wonderful Wednesday. And I'm going to leave you with the kind words that I leave you with every time we sign off, which is be safe, be kind, and happy hunting. Bye, guys.